Hello, everyone, and welcome to our session. Okay, this is our skills potluck. It's great to have you all here for this lesson, and it's time for us to go ahead and get started. So when you are ready, please come on into the Hangout and join me, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so I see that I have a viewer, so welcome to our lesson, our skills potluck. If you do have a verbaling ticket, you're more than welcome to join me here in the Hangout. If not, then we'll wait a couple of minutes for other students to join us. Thanks for coming. Okay, very good. So it looks like Alejandra has joined us. Hello, Alejandra. Welcome to class. How are you tonight?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. And you?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. Thank you very much for asking. So who is that cute little guy in the picture?
Yes, it's a dog.
Oh, okay. Who's that cute little girl? Is and what's your dog's name?
His name is Lucas.
Ah, his name is Lucas.
Yes.
Ah, okay. So he is a boy. Okay, a male. All right, very good. All right, little Lucas. And how old is Lucas?
Lucas is 5 years old.
Okay. All right, very good. Very good. All right. Now, Alejandra, where are you from?
I'm from Colombia.
Ah, okay. All right, very good. Well, as you can see, your classmate, well, one of your classmates is Alejandro.
Um,
I think this is the first time that I've had Alejandra and Alejandro in the same class. Yes, very good. All right, nice. Well, thank you for being here in class, Alejandra. So, Alejandra, tell me, when do you use English?
okay, every day.
Okay.
Yes, I say every day.
All right. So, do you use English at work or at home?
And no, because I have to present a test. I think the next month. That's it for. I have to study every day.
Okay. All right. So, you have a presentation, it sounds like. Okay. All right. So, your presentation is a presentation that you have to make at work or?
It is for us English certification.
Oh, English certification.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Very good. Well, a couple of things that we're going to do today will help you toward that. The other thing is more to help your speaking. Okay. Now, a lot of times in English, we tend to use idioms. Okay. Now, this is not to be confused with the way that you say idioms or use idioms in Spanish. Okay. So, an idiom, I think you would refer to it as a language. Okay. But we refer to it as a saying. Okay. It's really just a colorful way to express yourself. Okay. So, you could say it one way and it's easily understood, but then you could also be more colorful or more interesting, and you can use an idiom.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to also welcome Alejandro once again. Welcome, Alejandro.
Hello, teacher.
Good. All right, so we're going to start off with a few idioms. Okay, so our topic for today, this is a skills potluck. So we're going to be working with a few different skills today. All right, so our first set is going to be with our idioms. Now, Here's the idiom. I'm going to type it in the chat box. A race against time. All right. Now, if you had to guess what that could mean, what do you think it means? A race against time.
A fight against time.
Okay. All right. When do you think you would have to fight or race against time? When you have a lot of time or when you have a very little time?
Uh, It depends. It could be both ways.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you have a lot of time, do you have to hurry if you have a lot of time?
Yes. And
Hmm. Yeah, usually when you have a lot of time, people move slower because they have a lot of time. But if you only have a little bit of time, then you have to rush, you have to race or move fast. Okay? And that's what this means. Okay? So it means to act fast because there is very little time left. Okay? All right, so let's talk about it. Okay, let's think of a couple of examples where you might use this. Okay, so let me start with one example. Race against time. Okay, my flight leaves at 8 a.m. It is 7:45. I have a race against time to arrive on time, or to arrive before my flight leaves. Okay, so that's a race against time. All right. Alejandra, do you understand a race against time?
No, no, Merlin.
Okay. All right, so let's try it again. Okay, so let's see. We're talking about a race. Okay, so when you have to move fast, because you have a little bit of time.
Oh, yes, yes, okay.
Okay? All right, now let's think of an example. Okay? I'm going to type it here. Give me an example when you had a race against time. Okay, I want you to think about it. Okay? Alejandro, can
yeah,
you give me an example?
okay. My food, my food
Mm-hmm.
is burned. I have a race against time.
Okay? My food is burning. I have a race against time.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's see, before it's ruined or
Ah,
before it's completely burned.
okay.
Okay? All
Hmm.
right, so that gives us a reason to rush. Okay, so the fact that it's burning, that's one thing. But you're trying to save the food before it's completely burned. Okay, good. Alejandra, can you think of an example?
Yes, but the word is have to arise. Yes, what's the the idiom.
Okay, the idiom is a race against time.
Okay, a race before time. Can you write in the chat box, please?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have the verbaling chat box?
Yes.
Okay. Is there? Is there in the verbaling chat box?
Oh, but I have the group chat.
You have the other one. Okay. All right. So let's see.
Okay, okay. Now I can see. Okay.
Oh, you can see it. Okay, good. Yeah.
Okay. For example, um, uh,
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. I think you're thinking about it.
okay. I'm thinking.
Okay. No problem. No problem. Okay. All right, so you think of an example where you had to rush or you had to hurry. Okay.
Okay. For example, um, I have to pay the services at the bank around arrive against time. That's okay.
Mhm. Okay. Uh yeah, okay, so during business hours. All right, good. Okay, so there's your situation. You have to pay the services in the bank
Yes.
during business hours.
Ah,
Okay.
but in that case, how can I use the idiom?
Okay, good question. Let's see if Alejandro can help us. Alejandro, how can we use the idiom a race against time in this situation?
The idiom goes at the end of the phrase.
Yeah, you could put it at the end. Okay, so let's start it. Okay, so I have to pay the services in the bank during business hours. I have a race against time. I have a race against time because what time does the bank close? Because the bank closes at,
At 2 o'clock.
okay, at 2 o'clock, and it is now, okay,
One, 1 o'clock.
all right, good. So that's 1 o'clock. So you still have 1 hour. Okay, so that's a little bit of time. So you could say it is now 1 o'clock. But if you really want to use this expression, you only have a short amount of time. So can we make the time shorter?
Yes.
Okay, so what can we say? So it is now,
Uh, 1.5.
good, it is now 1:30. Okay, good. All right, so there we go. I have to pay the services in the bank during business hours. I have a race against time because the bank closes at 2 and it's now 1:30. Okay. Alejandra, can you read that again for me? I have?
I have
Okay.
a race
Sorry,
against. Eh?
sorry, that was Alejandra. Sorry.
Okay. I have a race against time because the bank closes at 2 o'clock and it is now 1:30.
Okay. Now, is it 1:30 or is it 1:30?
Okay, no, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Alejandro, what do you think? Is it, when you're talking about time, is it 1:30 or is it 1:30?
Both are correct, I think.
All right. Well, not really. With those two options, it's just 1:30. Okay, so you could say 1:30, or you could say 1:30.
1:30.
Yeah, there you go. All right. You only use 1:30 if you're talking about measurements. So you could say 1.5 meters or yards or feet. Um, or if you're talking about length of time, I'm going to put that here, length of time. So then you could say the movie lasted The movie lasted an hour and a half.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's where you could also use half. Okay, so Alejandra, do you see the difference? Why we say 1:30 or 1:30?
Yes.
Okay, good. Excellent. Excellent job. Okay, so this is our expression, a race against time. When you have to finish something and you only have a short amount of time. Okay? All
Okay.
right, good. Let's go on to our next one. Okay, our next expression is this. Out of the blue. Out of the blue. All right? Now, what do you think this has to do with? Out of the blue. Take a guess. What do you think that could mean?
Out of the blue. Without problems?
Okay, it does mean without something. All right, so I'm going to put that here, without something. And I'm going to I'll give you a sentence. I'll give you a sentence. Um, I I had a lot of bills to pay. And then, out of the blue, someone gave me a lot of money. Or I could say gave me, yeah, let's say a lot, because we want a lot. Okay, so someone gave me a lot of money. All right, so I had a lot of bills to pay. And then out of the blue, someone gave me a lot of money. Okay, so looking at this sentence, what do you think it means? Out of the blue. What could that mean?
Mm,
Suddenly?
Yeah, good. So suddenly, okay, or without warning or without notice, someone gave me money. Okay, so this was something that happens unexpectedly. So something you were not expecting to happen.
Okay.
All right. All right. Now let's try to think of another example. Okay, so there's one example in the chat box. I had a lot of bills to pay, and then out of the blue, someone gave me a lot of money. That would be excellent if that happened. That would be wonderful. Okay. All right, let's try to think of an example. Alejandro, can you think of an example of something that happened to you out of the blue?
Okay. And I was sad, and then out of the blue, everything changed.
Hmm. Okay, very good. So you had an unexpected change, okay, and you weren't sad anymore.
Hmm.
Good, good, nice. Now, that's wonderful if that happens. Yeah, so sometimes it's good. Sometimes we're sad. There's a time for everything, but it's nice to have a sudden change and you're happy, or a gradual change even. All right, very good. Alejandra, tell me something that happened to you out of the blue.
Okay, for example, um, I was alone in my house, and out of the blue, a friend came to visit, or a friend visited me.
Hmm. Very good. Yeah, there you go. All right, so I was alone in my house, and out of the blue, a friend came to visit me. Good. Okay, well, that's a nice friend to have. They just come over, surprise you, and visit you. Okay, good. Okay, so that means you understood the idiom. Good. Excellent job. All right, I want to take just one more idiom for today. So, first of all, we talked about a race against time. Okay, and then we talked about something that happened out of the blue. All right, before we go on, Fabian says, I have a race to arrive to work because I woke up late. Okay, all right, good. So I woke up late. Good. So I woke up late, and I had a race against time to arrive to work on time. Okay, there you go. I woke up late and I had a race against time to arrive to work on time. Good, Fabian. Good. Nice job. Thanks for your participation there. All right. The last idiom that we're going to use for today is this one. To nip, to nip in the bud. Hmm. To nip in the bud. All right. So first of all, let's try to guess. What do you think that means? To nip in the bud.
I have no idea.
Okay. All right, very good. So does it sound like it means to start something or to stop something? Hmm. All right. Okay, let's think of a flower. Okay, so flower starts with a bud, and then the flower blooms. All right, so if you nip it in the bud, does the flower bloom? Okay, so the problem here is with the word nip. Okay, so a nip is like when you break something off. Okay, to break something off. So if you break off the bud, will the flower bloom? Okay, think of a flower. Okay, so it's got the long part, the stem, and then it's got the bud. Okay, kind of looks closed. All right, when a flower blooms, it opens. But if you break off or nip off the bud, can the flower bloom?
Mm.
No, it can't. It can't bloom. Okay, it can't open. All right, so to nip something in the bud means to stop something. To stop something before it's too late. Okay, so you nip it in the bud. You stop it.
Uh-huh.
Okay? All right, so let's try to think of an example. We'll try to make sure that we understand. To stop something before it's too late. Okay, what can we say? Something that you stop before it's too late. Okay, let me give you an example. A fire started in the kitchen. Okay, a fire started in the kitchen, but I put it out before the house burned down, or before the fire could spread to other parts of the house. Let's make a complete sentence. So a fire started in the kitchen, but I put it out before the fire could spread to other parts of the house. I nipped it in the bud. Okay? All right, so I put that fire out before it was too late. So I can say I nipped it in the bud. All right, let's try to come up with an example. Okay? Yeah, Alejandro or Alejandra, do you have an example of when you nipped something in the bud?
Yes, for
Okay.
example, I was starting to eat too much junk food, and, and I nipped in the I nipped in the bud.
Ah, good, good. So I
Yes,
was starting to eat too much junk food and I nipped it in the bud.
yes, and stop it eat junk food because that would be a problem with my weight, with my weight, yes. Yes, more or less.
Right, good. So I'm typing it here in the chat box so that you have a complete sentence. All right. Alejandra, read that for me in the chat box.
Okay, I was starting to eat too much junk food and nipped it in the bud and stopped eating junk food that could lead to problems with my weight.
Yeah, very good. Okay, now I do see something that I need to change there. Sorry about that. I'm going to type it again here in the chat box for you. Okay, so I was starting to eat too much junk food, but, okay, you want the contrary, but I nipped it in the bud and stopped eating junk food because, or before it could lead to problems with my weight. Okay, let's try it again. All right, read that again for me, the second one.
Okay, I was starting to eat too much junk food, but I nipped it in the bud and stopped eating junk food before it could lead to problems with my weight.
Good, good. That was a nice complex sentence. Very good. Nice job, Alejandra. Good. All right, Alejandro, what example can you give me?
Um, uh, I just fall down, but I could clean on the table. Uh, I nipped it in the butt. That's correct.
Okay, so um, I I was falling down. Oh, let's see. Okay, I almost fell,
Mhm.
but I grabbed or I held on. Let's say, but I held on to the table. Hmm. Okay. And you could almost say I almost hurt myself, but I nipped it in the bud. Hmm. Yep, good. All right, good. So you almost, I mean, that could have been terrible. If you fall, you can definitely break something, and that would not be good at all. Okay, that would be terrible.
Mhm.
And, all right, very good. Nice job. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. Okay, I'm going to give you an example, and you tell me which idiom would be a good one. Okay, which would be the best idiom to use for it. Okay, here it is. I'm going to type it in the chat box. I didn't expect to see Pete at the reception. He showed up. Idioms could we use there, or the three idioms? Okay, is it um, he showed up, a race against time? Is it B, he showed up, nip in the bud? Or he showed up out of the blue? Which is the correct answer?
Um, sí.
Yes,
Okay, he showed up out of the blue. All right, now what does that mean, that he showed up out of the blue? Okay, again, she said, I didn't expect to see Pete at the reception. I didn't expect it. He showed up out of the blue. So what does it mean that he showed up out of the blue? Okay, remember the words that we
He,
used before?
he, he appears suddenly.
Yeah, good. He appeared suddenly or unexpectedly. Okay? Yeah, very good. Nice job. So you could say, I didn't expect to see Pete at the reception. He just showed up suddenly, or he suddenly showed up. Okay, that's one way to say it, but I could also say he showed up out of the blue. Okay, that makes it more interesting. Okay? All right, let me give you another example. Greg has started smoking. This is something we really have to. All right, again, your three choices. Is it A, race against time? Is it B, nip in the bud? Is it C, out of the blue? What's the correct answer? Hmm? Greg has started smoking. This is something we really have to A, race against time, B, nip in the bud, or C, out of the blue.
Smoking. He has a lot of time.
Okay. No. Well, it's something that he just started. He has started smoking. It's something that he's doing, but he just started it. Okay? This is something we really have to...
Nip in the bud.
Yes, good. All right, so I'm going to type that sentence here. Again, so this is something we really have to nip in the bud. All right, now what are we saying? This is something we have to nip in the bud. What does that mean with regard to Greg and his smoking?
The Greg, okay, has a surge smoking habit. That could lead a problem, and therefore we really have to nip in the bud.
Yeah, that's right. So you want to stop it.
Let's stop it.
Yes, you want to stop that before it gets out of control. Okay? All right, so maybe this is something that parents would say of their teenager. Okay, so maybe a couple or mother and father would say, our son Greg has started smoking. This is something we really have to nip in the bud. Okay? All right, very good. Any questions about those three idioms?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, if there are no questions about that, then we're going to move on to our next activity. All right. We're going to take a look at a couple of words, or a few words. All right, and here they are. This, that much, and many. Okay, so remember we said that this is our skills potluck. All right, so that means we're going to do different things. All right. Okay, so we are going to talk about what these words mean. All right. Before, okay, so this much. So let's talk about that. So this much and that much is what we're going to talk about. All right, so let's talk about when we use that. If you have what we call a mass noun, okay, so it's a noun that is comprised of many things. Okay, it's not just one thing. All right, let's take, for example, food. All right, food is a mass noun. All right, because when you talk about food, okay, that's not just one thing. Okay, that can mean lots of different types of food. Okay, different things like that. Okay, so that's why we call that a mass noun. All right, so let me give you an example of how we can use this much or that much with it. Okay, and I'm sorry, let me just go back to talk about mass nouns a little bit. Okay, so they're nouns that things that can't be really counted. Okay, like water and oil. Okay, so we have food, and I'm going to give you water and oil. All right, can we count food, or can we count water and oil? I
No,
guess
I
what I
can't.
mean is, can I say I have one food, or I have two, or I have one oil?
No.
Yeah, you don't really count it that way. Okay, the quantity of it is different. Okay, so for example, I could say this much water, okay, or that much water, or that much oil. Okay, so I'm just referring to the amount. Okay, not really the limit of anything, but an amount. Okay, so for example, sometimes, and maybe this is true in your cultures as well, sometimes mothers or people who cook or bake, if you ask them for a recipe, sometimes they don't measure the amounts. So they may not say, I use 1 cup of flour or 1 tablespoon of oil. They don't use measurements a lot of times. They may say, use this much flour, okay, and they're pointing to their hand, the cup of their hand, use this much flour, or use this much salt, or use this much oil. Okay, it's usually used when you're trying to demonstrate something. Okay, yeah, so you'd say this much or that much. Okay, all right. Now, let's say, for example, let's say that I invite you both over for dinner. Okay, and I serve your plate, and I give you a lot of food. Okay, your plate has a lot of food on it. But let's say that you can't eat all of it. Okay, it's just too much food. Too much. Okay, what you can say is, I can't eat that much food. Okay, so that much is referring to the large amount of food on your plate. Okay, so just in general, you know, if I said I can eat 2 plates of food. Okay? For me that's a lot. 2 plates of food. So maybe I can say, Alejandra, can you eat 2 plates of food? Can you eat that much food?
No.
Good. So you may say, no, Carissa, I can't eat that much food. It's too much. I can't eat that much. Okay? All right. Or, Alejandro, if I gave you 2 gallons of water, can you drink 2 gallons of water in one day?
No,
Okay.
that's too much.
Right. Right. So you can say, I can't drink that much water. Is too much.
Mhm.
Okay? All right, so when you say too much, that just means excessive. All right, it's just
Ah,
past the limit. Past the limit, just can't drink that much.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay? Very good. Now, let's talk about things that we can count. All right? Tell me something that I can count. Give me an example of something that I can count.
I can count mm, cars.
Cats?
Yeah, cats.
All right, good. Cats. Yes, very good. Okay. So let's say with things that you can count, you use many. So I could say that many or this many cats. Okay. So let me give you an example. What if I said, well, let me just ask you, Alejandro, do you like cats?
No,
You don't like cats. Okay. All right. What about you, Alejandra? Do you like cats?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a yes. Good. So what if I said, for example, Alejandra, I have a gift for you. I want to give you, I want to give you 10 cats. They're beautiful. They're beautiful, beautiful cats. Will you accept my gift, Alejandra?
Uh, I don't know. I think no because it's too much. That much.
Yes, they're too many.
Ah, okay. It's too many. Sorry. Yes.
Right, right, because
La base de datos de virus ha sido actualizada.
Okay. Sorry.
that's okay, that's okay. All right, so you would say no, thank you. That's too, or um, I I can't accept that many cats. All right, so there's too many cats. Okay, so right, so I can't accept that many cats. All right, very good. So just things that you can count. Okay. All right, let's try one more example. Let's talk about sweets. Okay, so sweets you can count, or we can say see candy bars. Candy bars you can count. All right, so sometimes some people like to have just one candy bar. Some people like to have 2 or 3 candy bars. All right, very good. All right, okay. All right, Alejandro,
Yeah.
can you eat 3 candy bars in one day?
Um, I can't eat many. It's many.
All right, so you want to use, you can say that. All right, so I can't eat that many candy bars.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's too much.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm sorry. That you could say that's too much, or you could say that's too many candy bars to eat in one day. Okay, because we're talking about things that you can count. So let me make a correction. That's too many candy bars to eat in one day. Okay? All right. So the point here, let me give you an example. Let me give you another example so you can see exactly how to use it again. Okay? So don't give me so much wine. I don't drink that much anymore. Okay? All right, so wine is one of those mass nouns. You can't count wine. Okay, you can count glasses of wine, but you can't count wine. So that's why you would say much. Okay, don't give me so much wine. It's a considerable amount. So much, and then you say, I don't drink that much anymore. Okay, so that much is a considerable amount, a lot of wine. Okay? All right, let's talk about another one. Okay? Let's talk about many. Okay? So you can say, I don't see that many people on the beach today. It must be the weather. Okay, so maybe it's bad weather. Maybe it looks like it's going to rain. All right, so people, okay, you can count people, right? Okay, so that's why you use many. I don't see that many people on the beach today. It must be the weather. Okay, All right, so the only difference that you have to know is that when you're talking about things that you cannot count, mass nouns, you're going to use much when you're talking about an amount, much. Especially when you're talking about a large amount that can almost be too much. Okay, you want to say that much. Okay, and if you're talking about things that you can count, you want to use many. All right, very good. Let's just take a quick look. Let's see, let me get a great example here for us. All right, very good. So let me give you a couple sentences, and I want you to tell me if you should put much or many. Here's the sentence. I've never seen blank, blank, blank people on, excuse me, that many. I've never seen blank people here before. Okay? Should we say this many or should we say this much? What's the correct answer?
This many.
Okay. Now, why should we say this many?
What means?
Okay. Why should I say this many? Can I count people, or can't I count, or can I not count people?
Count.
That's right. You count people. Very good. You can count people. Okay. All right. Here we go. Here's the next sentence. He has never read so. All right. So blank, blank, blank books before. All right, so should I say so many or so much? Alejandra, what do you think? He has never read so many or so much books before.
I think it's so many
Okay, good. All right, now we say so many. Why do we say so many?
because I can count the books, the number of the books.
Good, very good. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so the next sentence, she never drives that blank, blank, blank miles in one day. Okay, Alejandro, what do you think? She never drives that blank miles in a day. Is it much or is it many?
Much. This much. That much.
Okay. Can I count miles?
Oh, I'm sorry. That many. That many miles.
Right. She never drives. She never drives that many miles in one day. All right, so we don't know what happened, but she sure drove a lot of miles that day. All right, this one is for you, Alejandra. You have never donated that blank, blank, blank money before. All right, should I say much or should I say many?
I think it's much.
Okay, all right, you have never, donated that much money before. Okay, very good. All right, now this might seem a little bit tricky. So if I ask you if you can count money, Would you say yes or no?
How?
All right. Do you count money or do you count dollars or do you count coins? What do you count? Is it money or is it dollars or euros or coins? What do you count?
Yes, I count dollars or euros. Yes.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. All right, so that's why you would use much there. Okay, very good. Nice job. Okay, and let's see. Our very last sentence will be this one, and it's for Alejandro. They have never hyped up. Yeah, I don't like that one. Sorry. Let me try one other one. All right. I don't like that one. All right. So I have never done so blank 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 work in all my life. Okay, so should I say much or should I say many?
Much.
Yeah, right, good. Because can you count work?
No, I can't
Yeah, you can't
work.
really count work. Right, so I have never done so much work in all my life. All right, very good. So if you've worked hard one day and you've worked extremely hard, this is something that you can say. Okay, especially if it's the first time you've worked so much in all your life. I've never worked so much in all my life. All right, very good. Well, that's going to bring an end to our skills potluck. Okay, so today the variety or potluck of things that we talked about was when to use much and many. And we also used 3 idioms. Can anyone remember one of the idioms that we used today?
A race against time.
A race against time. Good. Alejandra, do you remember another one?
Yes, out of the blue.
Ooh, good. Out of the blue. All right, and there was one more that we used.
The nip.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it has something
Uh,
to do with nip.
I don't remember. A nip.
Good. Nip in the bud.
Mhm.
Okay, so to stop something before it's out of control. Okay, to nip it in the bud. All right, very good. Well, thank you, Alejandra and Alejandro, for being here in class with me today. This was a very interesting class.
Okay. Bye
All
bye,
right.
teacher.
Yeah, okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye, Alejandra.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.